Hey everyone, today we're gonna be doing a Leetcode question which is to find valid parenthesis. So we are given some string containing only three characters, opening bracket, closing bracket and the asterisk. We need to return true if the S is valid, which consists of any number of left parentheses along with the right parenthesis and the star. So they are saying any left parenthesis must have corresponding right parenthesis. Similarly, any right parenthesis should have corresponding left parenthesis. They are saying every left parenthesis must have right parenthesis, which can be asterisk. You can say asterisk can be treated as the right parenthesis or the left parenthesis or the empty string in case of some example. So here given some of the examples. Let's see with some help of code and like draw. So we'll take one example each. So if I say, okay, example one, given we have some input s, we are given something like opening bracket, closing bracket, and we need to find whether this is like a valid parenthesis or not, like whether this string is creating valid parenthesis or not. So if you see, if I say, okay, we have one left parenthesis, we have one right parenthesis, so this particular case is valid. If I say there is example 2, okay, there's one example 2, I'll take example 2 as opening bracket, star and closing bracket. Okay, I'll again take example 3 as well. So here they are saying, okay, example 3 string is given something like this, opening bracket, star, closing bracket and one more closing bracket. So if you see for this example, the second example, they are saying there is one opening bracket, there is one closing bracket, or you can say there is one left bracket and one right bracket. So this can be like completed with this one, and we can ignore the string asterisk for this case because this already satisfies the condition. So if you see the another example, example 3, they are saying there is one opening bracket and there is two closing bracket. So if I say, okay, one opening bracket can be closed using the second closing bracket, or you can say one left bracket can be closed using one right bracket. Okay, we now left with this bracket. So in the question they mention this star can be treated as left bracket or the right bracket as per the need. So if I say, okay, this can be paired up with this, or you can say this can be treated like, in another words, we can say, okay, this changed to left bracket and we have two right brackets. So now this valid parenthesis is now valid. Like this can be closed using this can be closed using this. So now we have made this like you can say this string is valid as per the parenthesis rule. If you see another example, if I say, okay, there's one more example like we have some opening bracket, we have some closing bracket, and again we have a star. So if you see, for this opening bracket we have a closing bracket, but for this closing bracket we don't have any opening bracket. Star can be a opening bracket or closing bracket, but if it is coming before to a closing bracket, if the star is coming before to the closing bracket, if something like this is coming, this and this, so this can be made as a opening or closing bracket. If this star came here, like in this example, we can change the star to a closing bracket or a opening bracket if it is coming before to a closing bracket. Or in the another word, if I say this is correct, this is right, you can say this is the output should be true in this case, the output should be false in this case. Okay, why false? Because this is not like making any parenthesis complete. If I say this can be crossed with this one, but this cannot be crossed with this one because this is a closing bracket and we can make this as an opening or closing, but order should be in the correct phase. If I say the another example, if I have something like I have this opening bracket, I have a closing bracket, again I have a star, then I have a opening bracket. So if you see, I can close this one by this one, but I cannot close this one using this one. I cannot make this as a closing or opening bracket to close this one because the star came before to the opening bracket. Similarly, in this case, closing bracket came after, before to the opening bracket. So we need to maintain the order as well. So The brute force approach, you can see like if I say for this example, if I say the example again, our example is, I'll say okay, example here is string. Okay, I'll say string is something like this star closing closing. Okay, so what I can say, okay, I'll say okay, find one closing bracket for this one, another find this. You can now match something like you can take reference whether this is making a closing bracket or the opening bracket. So what I can see for every character, I need to just check the alternate character. I can say for this bracket, I just need a opposite bracket. So I can either take this one, either I can take this one. So you can say, okay, greedy approach will be like, I'll take the first occurrences. Either I can use this to close this one, either I can take this with this one to close this one, or either I can take this with this one. But if you see, I need to maintain an order. I just need to close with the earliest one, but I'm not sure which one to use for this one. So what I'll say, okay, I'll just say, okay, I can make a three, you can say pairs, using one of them can be made this to be closed. Okay, I'll say, okay, let's say this is now pairing with something. I'm not sure. I'll come to the next one. I'll say, okay, this is a star. Okay, I'll say either you can pair with this one, either you can pair this one. So it depends on this one, which one this has been paired with. Okay, so something like you can say we are doing something backtracking or the recursive, or you can say a dynamic approach. So I'm not like I cannot say which one is the optimized. So what we'll do, this as this is a like stack series, we'll do this question with the stack. If you see, if I use a normal stack, if something is this, if I insert a opening bracket and I'll just ignore this one for now, or let's say I am just counting for this one, like I'll make a count, like count of stars is 0 for now. I came here, I inserted the opening bracket here, I came here, star, I increased the count for just checking whether we can use this to contribute like for closing or like for making a closing of the opening bracket. So what we can do, we can iterate and insert our parenthesis. I'll came here, I'll insert my opening bracket in the stack. Once I'll get one closing bracket, I'll just say, okay, if is the top of the stack is opening bracket, just remove this one. So I'll say, okay, I have increased the count here. I inserted this one. I got a closing bracket. So if I get a closing bracket, I can just remove from the stack. Now my stack is empty. Now again I got one empty bracket. I cannot insert here because I don't have any close opening bracket here. I cannot use the closing bracket to close any of the opening bracket. Okay, what I can do? Okay, I have a count which is star, which can be treated as the opening or the closing bracket. So for now, I got one closing bracket. I can use this one to close this one. But if you see using one stack, if I change this like example to something wrong, if I say this is one bracket, I have again a opening bracket, I have a closing bracket, or you can say I have a opening and a closing bracket. Okay, one second, yeah. So I have one opening and closing bracket. I have a star, then I have a opening bracket. So if you see here, if I just append this one, I have this as a 0 for now. I don't have anything in a stack. Okay, what I'll do, I'll iterate over this one. Okay, I just iterated over the first character. I see this is opening bracket. I'll just append to the stack. I came to the next option, this one, this closing bracket. I'll just check whether I have opening bracket in my stack. Yes, I have. What I'll do, I'll just pop this from my stack. Now I get one opening bracket. I get one strict here. I'll just say okay, increase my count of a strict to make this to be like it is a opening or closing, to make this as a opening or closing. So what I'll say, okay, increase the count. This can be used for creating any opening or the closing bracket. Now again I got one. What I got? A opening bracket. Okay, I got this one. I just need to append in the stack. So I'll append this one. Now if you see, I can use this one to make a closing bracket, but this star is coming before this one. So if I use this to make this as a closing bracket, this will be like valid. You can say the output should be true in this case. But this star is coming before this one, so I cannot use single stack. I just need to have two stack approach. What I can do, I can use the same strategy. Like I will be appending my opening bracket to this stack. So I have something like this. I have a opening bracket, I have a closing bracket, I have a star, then I have a opening bracket. Okay. So what I can do, I can maintain two stack, one for opening bracket and one for asterisk. So I'll say here stack is for opening bracket. Okay, this stack is for asterisk. What I'll do, I'll just check. See, any closing bracket can be paired with this star or the opening bracket. So what I can do, either I can store opening bracket to my stack, or either I can use closing bracket to my stack. So using the opening bracket will be fine to use. So what I'll do, okay, whenever I get opening bracket or the star, I'll just simply push it to my stack. Okay, so for now I got one opening bracket. I pushed it to my bracket stack. Now I have here. Now my next character is a closing bracket. What I can say, okay, I'll check my first stack. Okay, I'll check this stack. If I have any character here, or you can say one opening bracket, I'm just storing my opening bracket in this stack. So whenever I have a closing bracket, I just need to find one opening bracket. So if I have something here, I can just take this and I can remove it to be paired with this one. If if suppose I was not having something here, I can use something from the extract count, you can say, or extract stack. So what I can say, okay, I can use this to remove this one. Okay, this is fine. Now I got one star. I can say, okay, star is here now. Now I got what? Opening bracket. I just need to append here. Okay, I'll append here. Now my this string got terminated. You can say finished. I have one character here, one character here. What I need to do, I need to find the relative order. Which one came first? Whether this opening bracket came first or whether this star came first. What I can do, instead of like pushing just the character, I can push the indexes. So if you see here, because we are just pushing one character in a single stack. Here I am pushing my opening bracket, here I am pushing my asterisk. What I can do, okay, for here just push the index 0. For this example, just push the index 0. For this example, for this character closing, just we need to remove something from this bracket or something from this. I have here, I'll just remove the 0. Now I have star. I just need to push its index here. So I'll push 2 here. I got opening bracket. I'll just push 3 here. Now my string got finished. I just have one character in both of the stack. Now if I say I just need to balance out my stack by removing one character from both. Like either I can use this opening bracket to be paired up with the star to close it, or you can say make it valid parenthesis. So if I say, okay, pair this opening bracket with this star, but you need to maintain the order, like opening bracket should come before the star. So if I say the index of 3 is coming after the index of star, you can say this bracket, opening bracket, is coming after the star. So this case is false now. If you see, if I have something like star, like I have parenthesis, I have star, I have a closing parenthesis. Or if you see I have a opening parenthesis, then I have a star. So for now, if I put this to my stack, initially I put 0 here for this one. Again for this one, I will remove 0. For this one, I'll push its index here. For this one, I will put its index here. Now if I say I have two like one occurrences, or you can say one characters in my both stack, I just need to see my opening bracket element, the top of the stack, you can say bracket here, should come before the star. Okay, for this one it's fine, because this can be paired up with this one to create a closing bracket. Similarly, for the closing bracket, if I have something as opening bracket here or any star here while running the stack, if I say, if something like this I have an example like I have a opening bracket, I have a closing bracket, I have a closing bracket again. Okay, so let's say I got some star here. Now, if I say just post my opening here and closing star here. So what I'll do for this one, I'll push my index 0. For this one, I'll just remove the index 0. For this one, I don't have anything in this stack and this stack. So I'll return false from here. Suppose this star came before the closing. What I can say, okay, I'll say just push the 0 here. For this example, just remove the 0. For this, put the star over here. For this one, just see whether we have an opening bracket or the star to make a pair. I have something, I'll just remove from here, and this is fine. So let's see how to do this with some example in the code. So what I'll do, I'll simply write a code so you can get much easily what I'm trying to say. So we will be iterating, like we will be having two stacks. So I'll say, okay, stack 1 for opening bracket, and I have stack 2 for closing bracket, or you can say extract the star symbols. So I have two stacks. What I'll do, I'll iterate over the string. So I'll say, okay, for I in, let's say, okay, make it like this. Okay, for I in range, you can say length of s. What I need to do, I just need to check if you can say the character. So the s of I, like index at like the string at index something like 0 to length. If this is equals to a opening bracket, okay. So if it is equals to the opening bracket, I just need to append to the stack 1. So append to the stack 1. So stack 1 dot append the index. So I'll say, okay, I. Similarly, I just need to append for the star. If something is star, I just need to append in the which one is stack 2. Okay. If it is not a like you can say opening bracket or the star, what I need to do, I need to check if it is a closing bracket. So if it is not a opening bracket and if it is not a star, this might be a closing bracket for sure. So what I can say, okay, if it is a closing bracket, we need to check first. If we have a stack 1, okay, if we have a stack 1, I just remove it from the stack 1. Okay, stack 1 from pop. Like it will be paired with some opening bracket. So that closing bracket might be paired with the opening bracket. If it is not a case, like the stack 1 is empty, I'll say, okay, paired with the stack 2. So there will be some extract. It can be paired with that and it will be removing that one. If it is not a case, so it means I don't have any opening bracket or the star for a closing bracket. So in that case, I'll say, okay, return false from here because I don't have any valid parenthesis. Now this is for iterating string. Now after iterating the string, we might left with some stack. So I'll say, okay, if stack 1 and 2 both are having some of the characters, I'll say if the length of a stack 1, if it is more than the star, okay. So I'll say if length of a opening bracket is more than the star, it means it cannot be paired up. So in this case, I'll say, okay, return what? Return false from here because you have extra bracket more than the star. Another case, if my opening bracket, so I'll say, okay, stack dot 1, the opening bracket, I'll say, okay, this stack 1 will have opening bracket. I'll say, okay, stack 1 dot pop. If the index is more than the star, so if the this opening bracket is coming before or you can say after the star, so I'll say, okay, if it is coming before or you can say after the star, I'll say stack 2 dot pop. It is coming after the star. In this case also you should return false because the order should be like coming before you can say an opening bracket need a star after the opening bracket. But in this case, opening bracket is coming after the star. So in this case also return false. Now, if everything works fine, at last, if we have the stack size left as a 0, like if I don't have anything in my stack 1, for the opening bracket. So if it is equals to 0, that means my parentheses are now valid. What I need to do, I just need to return true and false. So if it is equals to 0, it means it is true, otherwise it is false. Let me compile this code, let me see whether this code runs fine or not. So it got accepted. Let's submit this code. Let's see if complete code is working fine or not. So I hope so. It will work fine. Yeah, it got accepted, and that's all for today's. This is the code we have done in the linear time complexity and the linear space complexity because in the question they said there can be one opening bracket, closing bracket, or the star, and the size of the string can be up to 100 characters. So we have done in the linear iteration for in the linear iteration we have traversed this, and same for the space complexity. Both the space and time complexity is order of n. So it is like bit optimized. Yeah, that's all for today. Thanks for watching.